And welcome back to On TV. We are very pleased to have a live person in our studio audience for us this afternoon. He's the Right Reverend Rob Hardwick, who's the Bishop of the Diocese of Qu'Appelle for the Anglican Church. Welcome. Thank you for coming off the road to take a second to visit with us. You are cycling across the country. So you started late May?
Yes, May the 19th in Victoria, Vancouver Island. Going all the way to St. John's, Newfoundland. I should arrive there on the 1st of August at 5:32.
Oh my goodness, 5:32.
Well, I like to be on time.
Specific.
It gives you a target to aim for.
Yes, absolutely. So far, you're not halfway.
Just tipped the
Just
balance. 80 kilometers north of here is the halfway mark.
So how are you feeling?
Really good.
Good.
Yeah.
What prompted you to cycle across the country?
Well, I've been doing this for the last 2 years in preparation, cycling across provinces, but this is the first time across Canada. But really a few significant things have come to a head this year. It's the 10th anniversary since the Government of Canada gave its apology to First Nations people. It's 25 years this year since the Anglican Church primer gave an apology to First Nations. So there are those anniversaries, plus my wife and I celebrate 40 years of
Congratulations.
marriage. Thank you. And it's 25 years since I was ordained into the ministry.
Oh my goodness, this is a big year.
It is, yeah.
Now, you're hoping to focus on reconciliation. What made you decide that needed to be brought forward?
Well, the Diocese of Qu'Appelle had the longest running residential school in Canada, and so that's always been a regrettable part of our history. And so it's an effort on my part to keep the TRC initiative alive. It's important that we don't just make statements or apologies and don't follow up on it. And so it's a hope of mine that through this journey and meeting with community groups, church groups, First Nations groups, that we will endeavour to have an awareness that this needs to proceed. We need to journey together.
And Sault Ste. Marie, I'm sure you're aware of, we had a residential school right here in Sault Ste. Marie. And as you said, it's a part of our history that makes us stand out somewhat, but not for the right reasons.
Correct.
And I think that since I moved to Sault Ste. Marie, it was so important for me to learn more about it. Is that a big part of what's happening? Because you're not just driving through towns, you're stopping and you're conversing with people.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. All the time that I'm cycling, I'm praying. Praying for those three themes of unity, for healing and reconciliation. There's so much brokenness, certainly for First Nations people, but also other cultural groups as well across Canada. There's a few regrettable times in our history. And so this hope of awareness will lead us to greater reconciliation of all peoples. And so using the time to pray, but also in meeting with people to learn more about the cultural differences and the different experiences that people have had is so important. For me, it was really moving at Victoria to be welcomed by the Songhees Nation. That's the area where the largest number of residential school students were, and to be welcomed to the land by the Songhees Nation was truly a wonderful act of generosity, a great welcome, and to be able to share gifts and embrace one another. That was just a superb way to begin this ride.
Absolutely no barriers.
No.
And it's a wonderful thing because I think as you, obviously, your intention is to educate and keep the awareness alive, because ignorance leads to fear.
It does.
And it's just a vicious circle that goes on, as we know now, obviously, for years and years, and affects generations and generations.
And what I'm learning is we have had some great leaders in the past. Chief Xinhua, an amazing leader, such a spiritual man, but also a warrior and so loyal. There's much that we can learn from that chief. And so learning our history and then trying to retell our history, but in ways that forms greater community, that we can share these stories and share these insights into different aspects of our lives.
We're more like the different,
Yes,
I think.
absolutely.
You know, I'm certain that everyone appreciates the prayers. Are you collecting funds for anything in particular on this ride?
Well, that's an aspect of it. So for Indigenous ministry, I'm asking all the dioceses across Canada, the Anglican dioceses, to help raise funds. I'd like to raise $1 million for Indigenous ministries to help with the isolated communities, suicide prevention courses, raising up leaders to provide pastoral leadership. That all takes money. And so to be able to raise $1 million for that, to get them started before our Anglican Church of Canada can put a funding campaign together, that will aid this journey to reconciliation.
Now, you know, as someone who's chatting with you about cycling across the country, I can only imagine the challenges that you face daily. I'm sure you feel the kilometers one by one every day. You've had some mishaps, though, unfortunately. And how do you come above all of that on a personal level?
Well, as my wife will tell you as much as I will, setbacks happen, and there's many people across Canada that have greater setbacks. Yes, we've had a car accident and a car has been written off, and our RV trailer has been written off, and so that happened just east of Wawa, and so that was a halt to our journey, if
I
you
would
like.
think.
But my wife has come out of that unscathed, thanks be to God. And we've also had a flood in our own home back in Regina.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
And still you continue on.
well, to stop the journey now, that wouldn't make the right statement. We have to be able to journey through setbacks, and so whether that's in the relational aspect of our ministry with First Nations and ourselves, and we have to go beyond those setbacks as best we can. And they've suffered many a setback.
Absolutely, for years and generations.
Yeah.
If we want to make a donation before we let you go, is there a way that we can do that, even after you've come through our town?
Yeah, even within the town, you can give to the Anglican Church here in town.
Perfect.
Bishop Anne Dumond, she would gladly receive them and pass them on. But the Anglican Church of Canada has a donate button on its website. The Diocese of Qu'Appelle has a donate button on its website. And all of that money that's given in that way goes to Indigenous ministries. And so that's a wonderful way of helping. Within our own diocese, we're funding other projects like a medical centre in Muyinga, Burundi, which is the second poorest area of the world. The average wage is 43 cents a day. And so to be able to build a medical centre there, that's making a tremendous difference, as well as a Habitat for Humanity house for one of our refugee families. They're just two projects that the Diocese of Qu'Appelle is doing as well.
Well, I certainly hope that your good intentions and prayers lead you down a very clear road from here on in until you get back home. And I'm sure the flood will be all dried up by then.
Thank you.
And you do have a son there taking care of business, so that's
Yes,
helpful
yeah.
as well.
Thank you.
My best to your wife and to you. Continued awesome journey.
Thank you. And if you'd like to join me on the cycle to St. John's, Newfoundland, you've been most welcome.
Oh my goodness. Boy, wouldn't that be interesting? I appreciate the offer.
Okay.